once again playing Katawa Shoujo. And last time we helped Lily paint some banners, and we got to know Hanako a little bit more. And now we will get on to the game. So I'm gonna load my last save. And I believe we're close to the festival time. So yay, festival. Anyway, for a chance I'm not among the first to come to the morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by faces now, though names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. The first day I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, if you know the festival is on the day after tomorrow, I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also, come Sunday, please know that the meaning of the festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. Oh, I know I skipped some. Thank you, Mikado. But what I mean was more than the remainder of the sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bell, and everyone starts packing up their things. Muro deliberates for a moment, but still almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore. He gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, as crowded as a hallway in the school probably gets. Most of the students seem to be heading down from the cafeteria. Kisao! Oh no, did I get Emmy's route? That's not possible. Oh wait, we're supposed to have lunch with her. Yep, it's fine. I'm gonna make one of you a one-time, only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes, the privilege of enjoying them in private with the two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway as a remarking feat since it's full of people. She strikes a very confident-looking pose as to attempt one of her own ridiculous, puffing up her modest chest and making the V for victory sign with her head. Her hands, not her head. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe the honor of being invited? You stood there looking real lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. This is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So, how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. Yeah. I'm kidding. Sure, if your lunch offer, with pleasure. Let's go to the roof! The roof? Why the roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if you don't get there, she'll probably wander off, and then I know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me! Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have an extra lunch? She smiles guiltily. Actually, this is yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. Dilapidated, I think was the word. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with the missing padlock. I wonder who the interpret individual was that removed the lock. She shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! Hello. Yep, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she... Hello. Noticing Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confused at Emmy. She's the friend of yours? Rin turns her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I don't know you knew this person, Emmy. ... Awkward silence lasts for us for a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle and shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Does this mean I don't get food, or do you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. That makes her sound pregnant. I have food for 3. 3 whole babies, Hisao. Oh no, I started! Oops. Sorry about that. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stand at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is nobody else here but us. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few random benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the roof look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs, and groups are found around the quadrant and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at the passerbys. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, most palatable. The hectic life of the big metropolis seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch the bus, like their life depends on it, or get their senses overloaded by the moonlight after traffic jams. And traffic jams, oh my god. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only 1 short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from my home all came so suddenly. I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sunshine from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. Sorry, I had to take a drink. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees, flowers, not smog or car exhaust like it used to, just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces 1 big and 2 small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Hisao! What are you waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I sit myself in the corner of the bench to make a little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all 3 of us fit on it. Impressive view. She suppresses a giggle and places the lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go! Lunch is promised! Homemade nonetheless, I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks! I made them when I can. Conversation dies off and I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up, Rin daftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food in her mouth, using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's almost a reminder of the sort of place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to such a sight? I can't decide if I'm getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it mean that I become more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunchbox as if it had been insulted by her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. Let me take a drink to get that swallow noise. Ugh. Morning runs, always full of work, up an appetite. Which is great, because I can burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you lose it? Would you become a man? I very clearly choke on my lunch, trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the morning too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Talk like what? I think the answer is my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of a small talk and settle on the obvious question. How did you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer the question. Someone in the housing department thought we'd complete each other well, and we were assigned rooms next to each other. Complement each other. Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put it together, we got all our limbs, get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses the moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. The combined fact that Rin is genuinely curious makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm going to stop talking now. It'll save me a lot more trouble in the long run. Rin nods is what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a content noise. That was good. She blushes herself with cleaning. She busies herself with cleaning up her lunch. Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin's dexterous stabs her straw through the top of the box and begins to drink. Once again, I'm impressed how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision or not doesn't matter. I honestly not sure.
So Azal, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice, actually. I like high places. For the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for lunch, too. Emmy grins 1,000-watt grin. Pleased to be my response, I suppose.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature. The nerve.
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will keep eating lunch all alone.
I suddenly assaulted by the most heart-wrenching puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding, I was kidding, even though I'm not gonna eat lunch with you ever again. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location and company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at the declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling us to return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry.
If you don't eat more, you're gonna fade away.
Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The classroom passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see there's about as many students here as there were on Tuesday. Almost the evidence for that almost totally silent and enveloping the room. As I drop the books, I bow to the return slot in the counter. Yuko suddenly pops up from behind, quite startled from the bang they made as they hit the trolley next to her.
Sorry!
Oh, sorry Yuko, I didn't mean to startle you. I was trying to remember Yuko's voice.
No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you?
I'm trying to give her like a nerdy, cute voice, because that's how she looks. It's okay. I don't think there's anything. I don't know where everything is. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako has been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, she's sitting there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time, and get back to finding reading material. After an indescribably amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelves. With a minute of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter and quickly check the books and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gates, I make a few loud stretches to try to stave off the tiredness from the accumulation over the week. As I pass through and around the corner, though, I see a solitary figure down towards the small town. The colors of her hair and the tapping of her cane are unmistakable. Oh wait, this is a nice picture. Give me a second. Show image. How do I do this? Okay. You know what? We're gonna do it like this. There we go. Okay. After passing through and around the corner, okay. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face me a bit more towards the sort of source of my voice as she does. Hisao? Yep, it's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembers is a pleasant surprise. Good evening. What brings you here? Oh, once again she gives me a small polite bow, and once again I reply in a kind before realizing that I don't need to do so. Just going to town. You? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes to town with me. Not that lost, but worried. The two seem to be pretty close tabs on one another. It's surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so she reads away from everyone, lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace at the recall of my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remained silent as we continue walking down the quiet road. Tack, tack, tack. With the road beneath the cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much a loud yawn escapes me before I can continue. Yawn. Tired? Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but not like this. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For a moment I hesitate, but giving her an apparent tolerance of my frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kinda different though. I mean the formalities surrounding everything, and the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious differences. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I get used to it though, in time. She gives me a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I'd mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a change for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. Though optimistic, nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect and speak up about something else. So, where in town were you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I've come to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I intended to just wander around until I see what I can find, but the sunset is already approaching and nightfall not too far away. That doesn't seem very wise. I'm gonna have to ask her for directions again. I was just gonna get some food, but now you mention it, I don't really know the way. Well, now that's quite lucky. I was about to go to the convenience store myself. Oh my god, Japanese convenience stores are the GOAT. They're literally the best convenience stores you can ever go to. as someone who's been to Japan before, but only once. I hope to go again someday. Looks like I'm in your care again. Thanks. We walked together to the store, my pace carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite slower. Not that it's without reason. Alright, we're going to save. Yes. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you very much. If you like, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that little belly. And remember, stay smelly, bakas.